Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Community Outlook 2026 Trends and Predictions. I'm Shaveta Sharma, Director of Online Communities at Grazitti Interactive. I am glad to be with you here today. Right now, enterprise communities are going through one of the biggest shifts we have ever seen in years. Platforms are being disrupted. AI is becoming everyday's job. And moreover, the communities are expected to deliver more than what they deliver. They're expected to deliver the revenue. They are expected to deliver help in influencing the decisions and also supports the insight. Today's session focused on understanding this disruption and exploring how brands can navigate it strategically and thoughtfully. To do that, I have been joined by two of the incredible community leaders, Kuhl, EVP, General Manager at Gainsight, bringing over 20 years of experience in building communities. She had played a very key role in creating, scaling Salesforce Trailblazer and community. No one is there who doesn't know about it. And you'll see how much people are using it. All thanks to Erica for that great job. And now she is leading the community, customer education, and product experience across the customer lifecycle. And along with that, I have Todd Nilson, who is a community strategist and the advisor at the Clocktower Advisory. He has 25 years of experience helping organizations build and evolve the communities. He has worked with brands like Activision and SAP to design community strategies and to support the long-term growth. Welcome, Erica and Todd, for this session.
Happy to be here.
Great.
Thank you so much, Shaveta.
Okay. Over the next 1 hour, I think so. A lot of people are thinking what we're going to talk about. So I'll just give a gist of what we're going to talk about. First and most important topic is the platform disruption. Then we'll be talking about choosing the right platform, what is happening in forums, and the community strategies. Before we get started, I just like my audience to know you can post your questions in the chat and we'll get back to you once we come to the Q&A segment of our session. So without ado, if Erica, Todd, you allow me, let's get started. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, I think so. The first question.
Todd's pulling out all the tricks today.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I think so. The first question which audience would be thinking about is what is platform disruption and what is the right community platform to choose? Because as we know today, the online community platforms are changing so quickly. There are many reasons. There are reasons of AI coming into picture. There are reasons of acquisition that happened, and there are reasons of expectations that are changing. So Todd, you have worked with so many customers in the past. Just want to understand from you this experience of the platform acquisition and this transformation. What you are thinking? What are the key factors that is fueling this disruption? And should the team focus on when they are evaluating a community platform?
First of all, thanks, Shaveta, and hey, Erica. I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time, and I mean, we're at a really unique point in the community profession, in the work that we do, in the platform space itself. We're being affected, it feels like, by more different vectors than we've ever seen before in the marketplace. I started trying to list some of these things down before the call here today. And I mean, so it starts at the macro level with market volatility. I think that the end of global markets, the disruption economically of multiple economies, valuation of the dollar, all of these things are affecting the buying mood of customers. And I think it has created some hesitancy in the marketplace. But that macro level is just the beginning, because we were already living in a space where there's a glut of available community platforms that we could look at. I did a research round towards the end of 2025, and I was able to identify over 130 community platforms available in the marketplace that, admittedly, many of them are legacy platforms or things living on a GitHub out there somewhere. But there's a lot of options in the space, which is very confusing for customers that are maybe thinking about where they want to go. There's the volatility of platforms within our space. I think you have to acknowledge the gorilla in the room with Chorus's being sold and bought by Ignite Tech, and the implications of that for many organizations that were on Chorus for a very long time, as a longtime player, trusted legacy platform for the space. Now, many of those customers are either trying to feel out whether Ignite Tech is the right place for them, or if they should be looking at other platforms to move to. And it's not an inconsiderable number of customers that were on that platform. So that's creating some volatility. And then there are also a couple of other things that I think are of note here. Many of the community platforms I've noticed are moving towards what I'll call a convergence. They're incorporating more things than just a discussion forum into what they do. They've got learning experiences. There's integration with other systems, with CRMs, the ability to integrate with a data warehouse, or export your data or sync your data out to other spaces. In addition to the very disruptive movement around AI tools and how those are being incorporated in community platform experiences and used by community professionals at this point. And I have to say that the other side of that movement, from the AI disruption and the innovation that's happening, there's also what I'm calling the slow punk movement, which is a desire to pull back from all the technology and from the always on nature of our online lives, slow down, embrace more human to human connection, something that I think the community space does really well, and is a reason why I feel that 2026 is going to be a very good year for building niche communities. So all of those things are floating around over our heads as impacts on our space and what we do right now. So for organizations that are thinking about buying a community platform as part of their experience, this is a good time to be thinking about it. There's a lot of options in the market, but I always begin with why. Why do you want that platform? What result are you trying to drive with that experience? Because you have to begin with the outcomes that you want to and the impacts that you want to have, and then build a strategy around that. And that's going to drive the tools that you pick, the features that are supported, and the analytics that you're going to want to track over that time. Sorry, very long-winded answer, but it's a big question that deserves, I think, a lot of attention.
That's why I don't want to go to the next one. I want Erica to put some light again, because Erica, you have experienced on the community platform, both from professional and strategic point of view. With the market evolving so rapidly that we just want, everyone has that question, like a very, very valid point, Todd. Ignite Tech, Chorus acquired by Ignite Tech. Lot of hustle we can see from May onward. People are just in a disrupted mode where the word comes from. Why this happened? Is the platform gonna be there? Communities would be there, or people would leave the communities, they'll think of something else. So wanting to know, Erica, from your experience, what you feel about whole scenarios of AI disruption, what all you have experienced so far.
Yeah, I think that it's everything plus one to what Todd said. I feel like what I'm worried about most with a lot of this disruption is that with a choice, people are going to choose to deprecate their community. And that is the last thing that I want people to do. There's this, of course, a choice. there's certain platforms that are putting customers in a tough position where they're having to justify whether they move or whether they stay. And it's already hard for us as community and education professionals to justify our existence. So then you're forced with this choice. So I just hope so badly that, if anyone is deciding to go or stay, that they decide to stay or stay with community and not deprecate. So that's one thing that I'm worried about, that keeps me up at night when I think about this disruption going on. But I just really lean into what Todd's saying from the last part that he was saying, which is all that said and done, 120 tools, however that shows up, rewind back to what you're doing. And that if you are wanting to build a community or a combined education strategy with community or an expanded community, whatever where it is, just think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Pick something that's very focused, that's going to serve the business well, and do that incredibly well, and then match that strategy with the right platform that's going to unlock that strategy for you. Best start there. You don't have to worry about all the noise about the tools. Start with strategy, do the hard work to think about what you're actually in it for, connect it to business value, show your North Star, so that we're never in a position where you're having to justify your existence. You're already thinking about that from the onset. But there's one other thing I think that's going on that I think Todd inferred, but it's about tech consolidation is a thing that's happening too. I just hear this over and over again, that IT is going in and they don't care about the business. They're just trying to find out ways to consolidate platforms. And so that's a thing, and that's a real something to keep an eye out for. But all in all, I kind of like this moment we're having also, because we're getting an opportunity to step up. I'm hearing more and more that people are expanding their use case beyond support, and they're starting to think about, that's great, but that's going to be disrupted by AI probably the most. So how can we think about creating more value and really thinking about ways to augment what we bring best, which is storytelling and best case and use case sharing. Let AI do some incredible work for us so we can focus on what makes community, really, really special. So those are kind of like my high level thoughts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Todd and Erica, after talking to you, this disruption feels little less like a chaos now. It feels like reset towards a thoughtful strategic platform.
Yeah. I'd say.
100%. If I could add to that, I think when we think about times of stress, there's a term that's been applied to sort of our permanent state of crisis has been polycrisis. Like there's multiple things going on all at once. But I think like there's a difference between the distress of all the things going wrong, or all the things that we perceive that are problematic in our space, and a term that maybe people aren't maybe quite as familiar with, but eustress, EUSTRESS, which is good stress which leads to growth, which leads to thriving. And I think we're entering a eustress space for niched communities, for the kinds of spaces that we're building for ourselves now. And I get very excited about that, and I get a little sad, for organizations that are thinking about like, well, we have to cut our tech spend or consolidate our spend, with what's here. Let's, this community platform's kind of expensive for us to be with. Do we really need that? Can we turn that off? If IT's making that decision, that's the tail wagging the dog. And I'm sorry, that's bad thinking and bad strategic thinking organizationally. But for organizations that recognize that community is about full customer life cycle support, that it's about the life of the customer for the good that you get, the insight that you get from having that customer feedback over time. There's no more powerful way to do that than by having an online community that supports that work.
Definitely. I think so. I find more positivity after talking here, because I think so we all are thinking alike that there is an opportunity. This disruption and everything is giving an opportunity and a brainstorming for everyone across that what could be the better way of showcasing the community.
Yeah, I think, doesn't Winston Churchill have a good quote? I feel like I've quoted this so many times, never let a good crisis go to waste, or something like that. It's really very true. It's very true.
Great. And when we are talking about this disruption, another very, very common topic that arises from this topic is forums. There are a lot of components which are there in the community which are reshaping itself. So now the forums are not just left as a discussion around, but they are also evolving. So I just want to understand, Todd, starting from you, how do you think these strategies are helping evolve these components, specifically forum, because that's the widely used component of the community where it is specifically used for discussions and making sure that you are getting the answer, because that's what the primary job is. But after disruption, what we guys are seeing that it is getting evolved. It is expected to do more than just having a discussion. So if you want to put more light to it, like Todd, in your experience, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. So, I mean, forums are always at the center of community experiences because that's where conversations happen. And that is a primary need that we as humans have to connect with each other. And so I think as much as AI has had an impact on us, the idea of having a place for asynchronous, unhurried, high quality discussions is more important than ever as a use case. The value to an organization for harvesting, understanding, and leveraging knowledge from discussion forums, I think, is incredible now more than ever. The way that I can ingest unstructured data from those conversations into AI to tag themes in conversations, to understand what's important to a customer, to help build that sense of belonging within a space. There's incredible opportunity around the simple forum and what we've built, in that space. There are some implications that rise from AI's use of forums now, and how AI tech is implemented in forums. I think most of us that are on a call like this or participating in the stream here for this discussion already recognize that it's not a good idea to have AI greeting and managing your customer interactions in this space. It's maybe okay as a place, as an entry place for conversation, a replacement for the search bar. But as long as it's surfacing where those conversations are coming from in the community and it's being used to connect humans to humans rather than to the AI itself. So those, for me, are some starting points in the work. I do think that forums and the use of forums are increasingly going to be part of a pivot from transactional question answering to more of an emphasis on customer identity and connection with the brand and what's there over time.
Great. Erica, from business and customer experience, because you are doing a lot of that customer life cycle journey and everything. So from your point of view, you seeing the form getting evolved from the strategic point of view or from the organization point of view?
I mean, yeah, Todd really covered off on really the power of it. And I think it's also about, for me, getting more people involved in the organization to rely on the community and ingest this information. So it's just not a silo anymore. I think the reality is that community needs to be this center, this entry point, and all parts of the business need to be hooked into it in a variety of different ways. And there's lots of creative ways with workflows and stuff that you can make things very easy for people to participate across the organization, but everybody has a role. Community is not owned. I mean, yeah, it's owned by, I guess, a person from a platform, but it should be owned by the whole company. Community should be a service function out to the business. And then they should give back in their various different ways. And so forums are great ways to chop things up that way, to serve people in many different ways. And I really love what Todd said. Like it is more, it's going to evolve past that, like how-to type of questions. And it's going to evolve into this more, what we love, which is there's more best practice sharing, really true engagement types of interactions. So I love that. But so important. They feed in fuel. They become the authority content for the LLMs, so it's not filled with slop. I mean, I think the world is filled with AI slop, and so this is a way that human interaction, human created content like community and education are feeding these LLMs in such an incredible way. They're ranking higher. So more than ever, it's becoming so critical. So these forums they're not going away. They are being disrupted, but it's in a really incredible way for us right now. It's becoming kind of like a foundational layer that's critical to our success.
So I think so. The first topic, disruption, is covered so beautifully.
Yeah.
Everyone here would be feeling that, guys, it's not disruption, it's opportunity. Opportunity
Yeah.
for community on the forum level, and just a real word thinking, what next for us, right? And one word again coming, and my next question gonna be on that, AI. Where AI in community should begin. As we all know, every community platform is giving such a star feature, like we have AI enabled, right? We have AI enabled community platform. Now, the real question to the journal user or the people who are selecting the platform is like, when to get AI into the picture? Is it like from the very beginning, or is it like if required? So there are a lot of queries in everyone's mind. What about AI? If AI needs to do everything, what is the value of community then? When we talk about community, it means people, it means humans. So from Erica, from your experience leading community education and the product experience, where should team realistically begin with AI? And would that actually work for community? Or it's just like AI is everywhere, so we are talking AI in the community today?
Well, I mean, I think if you are thinking about whether you use AI or not, you're thinking about it wrong. It is here. It is part of our life, and we need to embrace it. And so, I mean, I'm a product builder now, so AI is incredibly important, but it's thoughtful AI. It's AI that's supposed to make a builder and a user, their experience is better. So from a builder perspective, I'm thrilled with what AI is doing for that community builder, because as a former practitioner, I spent so much time moderating and managing spam, and just like it was just never ending battle. And so it's incredible what AI can do now to help out the builder, to make their lives a lot better, to surface what is critical, what is important, let them action on it, bring it to them, versus them just feeling like a whack-a-mole, constantly trying to, bat down all of this chaos. And allows them to scale appropriately. It really is an incredible way to make the builder more effective in their job. And then you think about the future of it, could be a little bit more agentic. It can recognize milestones. It can, these are all the things that is very hard for us to keep track of. So I think there's a really incredible way it presents it for the builder, and then thoughtfully presenting it for the experience where it delights. So you don't start out with like AI answers immediately where it's suggesting, answers, but that's really can be pretty successful when it's making that. But you think about AI search, incredible, federating search across all of these different ways. Like it's supposed to augment the experience and make it really incredible. And then when you're thinking about even down the line, work is happening everywhere. Nobody cares. A customer does not care where things are coming from. They don't care if it's coming from your academy or your community. They just want an answer when they want it, how they want it, and in the format they want it, and they want it personalized. And that's the expectation that they have. So thinking about new ways to do this in the flow of work. So being able to prompt when they're in your product and say, hey, I see you're struggling with something, give you a successful prompt. It knows who you are and give you a recommendation to take a course or go to a community thread or join a group. Like, this is what is happening. And this is how really AI makes things a lot better for the experience, allows you to scale thoughtfully. We're all being constricted. The reality is the market trend is do more with less. They're restricting headcount, and this is a tough way to do, but community, things like in-app, like this is the way to scale thoughtfully and in a personalized way. So that's how I think of AI, is just that it's augmenting and making our lives better, not replacing us. This is the way I'm thinking about AI.
Definitely. Great insight. We cannot live without AI. That's for
No.
sure. And if we want to go with the trend, then definitely AI should be part of our daily life. But the only difference is how thoughtful we are in using that AI.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be everywhere a great example. Answer shouldn't be through AI all of it at once. You can take help, but that human touch should always be there. So,
Yeah.
what you think about it? So I think so. A lot of the part we both were discussing, but what's your thoughts on AI?
Yeah, I mean, really wonderful thoughts and insights from both Erica and your additions as well, Shaveta. I mean, AI is the toast of the town at the moment. I'm reminded a lot of, because I'm an old guy, of the rise of social media networks and sort of the proliferation of the .com era, when there was just a flowering of innovation and ideas and experimentation happening. And many things are happening. What's going to get adopted? What's going to get used? Where do we find value? As we kind of pass through the Gartner hype cycle of this, where we've got all these heightened expectations of what's here, I think we're starting to see some of the downsides of AI as well, and being a little bit more clear-eyed about the ethical implications, the legal implications, the need for transparency as we're using these tools. And there's a lot smarter people who think about stuff like this than I do. I know I've talked to some legal guests on my show from time to time. Just last Friday, I had Bill Johnston from Structure 3C on, talking about, he's got a 6-layer framework for thinking about AI implementation. But I think Erica put it really well. Like, we should be experimenting. The tools are not going away. Burying your head in the sand and pretending they don't exist is not a viable option to that work. So what I encourage customers to do that I'm working with, who are thinking about the use and adoption of AI, is to make some thoughtful small bets. Try the features or the functionality, maybe turning them on one at a time, seeing how those tiny experiments go over a 30, 60, 90-day period, and then making some decisions about how you're going to use them going forward. So it's not a turn it all at once thing, because that's a good way to fail at anything, and it's not a ignore it. It's a matter of shorter adoption cycles and sort of understanding what's working and adjusting it to the right way that your organization may want to use it. I think that the human in the loop buzzword that we use for this is something that we need to think about, like at what point a human is in the loop, for these things. Where I've seen good AI implementations is that AI will make a recommendation to look at your metrics, or it will look at a discussion thread, summarize it for you, maybe offer you the opportunity to edit it, or just ignore it entirely before it goes live. If a platform that you're looking at does not offer that kind of ability, that's a big problem.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Such a beautiful way to define AI together. So I think so. Agreed. AI, we cannot live without it. And yes, we need to go with the world. We need to get the community up and running with AI. But also that human touch, that human sentiments should always be part of the community, because that's what community is. So I think so. Let's start with the next segment or question. And before, I think so, there are a lot of questions coming. I really want to take them. So let's take this as a last segment for us, like the evolving role of community across the organization. We are talking in bits in the beginning, from beginning only, that now there is a big shift because of this disruption, you may say. I won't say a chaos now, an opportunity, where we are heading towards the new community in the organization. And today we are expecting that community needs to do more than just having a discussion. It may be for marketing, for support, for products. So Todd, you have helped so many organizations to build their community, align their marketing, measurable goals, business impacts. So what do you think, with all this AI, with new features, new opportunities, where we are taking our community in an organization? It shouldn't be just under one team like support or marketing, but across organization if we talk about it. I think so that's a beautiful way to summarize everything what we are talking now.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in a profession that is blessed and cursed at the same time. So and what I mean by that is we're blessed because we are spread across organizations. We touch every part of the organization in terms of how we offer product ideas, how we offer insights and input about the direction of the business. We're involved with customer advocacy, customer success, loyalty, renewals, even onboarding and acquisition, of new customers and ensuring that they stay on board, through the life cycle of the product. What we do is very important, and we need, if I had anything as a message, we need to get better at serving our stakeholders, aligning with them and helping them understand how community is serving them. The curse of it is that it makes us have to spread ourselves pretty thin. And many communities, while we're deep, we're T-shaped, we're across organizations, but the depth that we have is that knowledge of the community space. But we're asked to do a lot of things outside of that. And frequently, more often than not, I find that community teams are a team of one, maybe two people. And the burnout side of that is very real. The scope bloat of positions is very real. I don't know if any of you follow David DeWalt's commentaries on LinkedIn about he roasts job descriptions on a regular basis that mention community professionals. I think they're fantastic, and the roasts need to keep on coming, because the things that are being asked of community professionals to be just overall all-around athlete marketers is unrealistic and unfair, to the space, and it creates a position of burnout and sort of no-win situations. Are enterprises setting up community professionals for success or not in the space? And I think that it's entirely appropriate that we push back on those descriptions as they come out.
Definitely. Yeah. So, Erica, I want to know your thoughts when we are talking in the organizations, how this community role's gonna change. Community as a whole gonna change. I won't say it is changing for one, but it would be changing for a lot of people. We are hearing from some of the customers saying, guys, we want to sit back and see what more we can do from the community. We just don't want to use it as a support, but what next? So from your point of view, Erica, what do you think where we are heading towards?
Well, I love this trend because this is something that I firmly believe in. I think this is attributed to my success building community at Salesforce entirely, is that I mentioned it earlier. It was nobody's job and it was everyone's job. And nobody said, oh no, community's not in my job description. It was just, they relied so heavily on it, and it took so many different forms and fashions. It wasn't this perfect little box. It was release webinars or product insights or betas or events or groups. Like, it took on a blend of everyone in the organization's, their values and goals. And so aligning, like Todd is saying, is so critical. And if you're having trouble with that, you could pick one that and just hunt them down and prove to them and show them how what they're doing does not scale and what they're doing does not serve the business, and lay it out for them, make it just so easy to take you on and even trial out a process that they're doing on the community, so they can see and get a sense and see some success in a short term. Because I think it's hard to boil the ocean and think you're going to just create mass excitement across the entire organization right away. So find the people that are aligned to your goals most specifically, and then loop them in, and then use them as your show pony as to moving around the organization to gain some momentum. And I think the underlying just thing that I think about for community professionals that we all just have to get better at is the language of business. Yeah. Even if it's weird because I'm obviously in community for so long, but I don't even like the word community. It has no meaning to people. It means too many things. And everyone has these perceptions around the business. I bet if you walk around your organization and you ask different parts of the business, what does community mean? They'll give you like 10 different answers, from social media to forums to whatever, to product insights. So it matters that you are thinking about the language of business to who you're serving. So when you're talking to product, you're talking about the way the community can serve them. When you're talking to marketing, the way you speak marketing language, you speak product language, you speak customer success language. And it's really important to speak that language because they tune out. Otherwise, they think, so it's really, and then figuring out and when you understand the language of business, you focus on what they're struggling with. They're definitely struggling with something. And where can your community serve them best is how you're going to hook them in. And then once you hook them in, it serves you because it's like mutually beneficial. You're getting the traffic or whatever. Traffic's a bad word these days, but you're getting the engagement or the posts or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And they're also seeing the value from whatever they're trying to achieve. So you must learn the language of business and align it to what these parts of the organization, or you will never, I don't think, ever really achieve community as DNA. And that's really the unlock that I just want so badly for everybody in our organization or in this industry to just level themselves up that way and start learning that. Instead of, I did a lot of pouting and a lot of like stamping my feet and throwing tantrums, like, why don't people understand me? Can't they see the amazingness that I'm doing? I'm like, no, this is my fault. I get this, but nobody else does. I need to show them what the value is and, put the bumpers down the bowling alley and let them feel comfortable with how they get involved. So that's just like, thank you for letting me go off on this little tirade, but it's just like, it's so critical for us if we're going to survive. Don't you think, Todd? Like,
Yes. I'm giving you the ticket to parade. So much wisdom in what you said, and so like I wanted to emphasize a couple points. One was that you start where you think you can get some traction within the organization. It's not every department at once. I mean, yes, you should be doing a road show around the different departments, but who there is showing signs of interest? Who's showing signs of life? And then how can you partner with them, build a success, and then socialize that through the rest of the organization? I come back to thinking like about how we manage our communities, our members in our communities. Are you spending all your time on the lurkers in the community? I know that's an unpopular word to use around it, but the
gleaners. Gleaners is a better word. They glean.
The gleaners, yes, I like that. That's much better. Are you spending all of your time on the gleaners, or are you spending on the people that are actually contributing on a regular basis, to the space? Same thing with internal stakeholders. Who is interested in actively contributing? Who can you double down on to build those initial successes with? I mean, I think that's such a wise observation that you made around that. I wanted to really land on that, and then over time that's going to increase. I mean, we regularly monitor the health and wellness of our community spaces. But how do we ever put any numbers or metrics around the health and wellness of our stakeholders internally within the organization? Like who are your top contributors, and on what basis do you measure that contribution that they make? How are you communicating to them? And then the other thing that you said was about and yes, I have a tendency to stamp my feet and say, why can't you guys just understand the misapplication of community to so many things where it doesn't apply at all. And I think it's so important to think about if the messaging that you've used to communicate the value of the community to your leadership teams and to your departments is not working, find another way to say it.
Yeah, and if I just could add, I mean, like I was just going to say as you were talking, I was like, you kind of have to love the sound of your own voice a little bit, because you have to be a broken record, and then you have to be a broken record that tries to say something a little slightly different way, and then say it again and say it again. And when you think you're done, you're not. Like the employees at a company they're like as important, if not more important, than your community members themselves, because they're the ones that are going to perpetuate the value of the community, and they're coming in new all the time too, new hires and shift in leadership. And so you have to make internal enablement of what the value that community brings you. It just never can end, and don't forget to do it, because it's hard to catch back up. So it just should be like a pillar in your strategy of just hammer it in. It's never enough. It's never enough.
Yes.
That's the way I think
It's another Winston Churchill quote. I'm going to get this wrong too, but if you have a point to make, you strike it really hard right in the head, and then you pile drive it again and again and again to people get through, because people don't hear you the first time. They don't, or they're in their own heads. They're doing something else. So that need to reemphasize message. I call it the big red hammer effect. You got to hit somebody over the head multiple times with it, for them to really have it come through.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Means we guys can talk about it like endlessly, but
Yes.
the points that you made are really important. They are really important that it is about the influence, how you are influencing first your organization, that why community, what value it is doing, and no, it's not about engagement only. It's about what we are delivering to the organization as a whole. So I think so. That's really a wonderful answer, Todd and Erica. Thank you so much. I can see there are a lot of questions coming our way. So I think so. Let's get started with few of them.
Yeah.
So the first one is, who should actually own the forum as they become more strategic data assets? I need your thoughts, both of you, to just provide that information. Like, who should own this? Who should own the
I
forum?
mean, I have, well, when I'm hearing forum as community, so I'm just going to go with the broader answer. And I have a little bit of a, people don't love my answer to this, but because it's a little contentious, this kind of thing is very contentious in the community industry. My honest answer is go where the money is, go where the sunshine is, because we need to grow and we need to serve. Go to the place that's going to give you the ability to serve, and that's where I think it should be. Sometimes that's marketing. Sometimes that's CX. Just go where you're able to not just be have blinders on and serve only that one part of the business. So that's kind of where, and usually those organizations, if it's marketing, they have a lot of money and they're close to the sun. So they'll allow you to, serve the business like they're supposed to serve the business. And so I just think that where we are right now, we haven't evolved enough to be like, I don't see many people reporting to CEOs. I don't see many true service organizations. So you kind of got to start somewhere and then just find the way that you can then, expand your business out so you can serve the business. So that's my quick answer to that. It's contentious.
I agree. I think going where the funding is available is important. Is recognizing where the nutrients are that are going to nourish the community we're trying to build. I think that's important. I'll add to that, though, that I think it's important for people within the organization to feel some sense of ownership or stake of involvement, and that should probably be expressed in the form of some kind of governance team that the community team works with to inform them as stakeholders in that, talking to them about where success has been found, speaking the language of the business. Not simply in terms of data, but in terms of emotive content as well. In other words, I have a data point to share with you about how community engagement is going within the space. But then I have a story that's going to tug at your heartstrings, that's going to help you understand at the heart level as well how the community is doing. And I think having a cross-disciplinary team in place that meets, I don't know, quarterly, at least once or twice a year, to have those conversations is important. So I think we're talking about ownership in slightly different forms here.
Yeah.
But I think they're both important ways to think about that ownership question of community.
Yeah. And one thing I'm seeing, and I don't know if you're seeing this too, Todd, is that like this emergence of customer marketing. It's a weird word too, like not needs to be disrupted. All the names, I don't get too keyed into names, but customer marketing, I'm starting to see own these pillars, own advocacy alongside of community, sometimes life cycle, references. They're all, and I love that actually, because they, in different organizations, it has to align with the values, like the why, obviously, but like, I like that because sometimes these types of programs compete against each other, and instead of working with each other and understanding that it's a menu of options of where you engage. And sometimes you start out one way and you evolve into the other. So it should feel like they're fluid. And so even if they're not owned by the same person, they recognize each other and don't fight against each other. It shouldn't be just about which one gets better swag. Everybody that knows me knows how I feel about the golden hoodie in the Salesforce days. It made me insane because it isn't about the golden hoodie. It should not fight against the other amazing things that the programs are doing. So I find that that's a good emergence.
Awesome. I hope the audience who has asked the question is satisfied with the answer. Another question, I think so. That is like, do you have any insight or recommendations regarding decreasing community engagements? That's how we can improve the engagement. I think so. They want to ask that, but insights on why you feel there.
ToddNilson.com. Pay him money and he will come solve all your engagement problems.
Thank you for the endorsement, but
Clocktower.com maybe, whatever.
Yeah, Clocktower Advisors. Thank you
Clocktower
for the plug. Appreciate it. Or go to Gainsight for further insights. So, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, that's a question for some root cause analysis, like what is leading to that decrease in engagement? What do you mean by engagement? Does it mean like fewer people are liking posts? Okay, why is that happening? You need to talk to the members themselves, find out what it is about the platform that's maybe changing. You need to look more carefully at your metrics to see if you could determine, what's happening. It's one of the reasons I love Rich Millington's work, because he gets so deeply into the data and he's very good about parsing out what all of that means. Mm-hmm. And I try to emulate him on my best days. That ability to really understand what the numbers are saying. But I think it doesn't happen without qualitative, like live Zoom phone conversations with the members to understand where they're coming from. Maybe the needs of the community have shifted. Maybe that's changed. Maybe you're just not getting as many new cohorts of members joining the community, and that's leading to a decrease in engagement. Like, there's a lot of things that something like that could be. And then people are talking about AI decreasing traffic to communities because people are getting their answers out on Google, instead of actually visiting the community spaces. Well, that might be leading to a lower level of conversation, but that's not necessarily, or a lower volume of conversation, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if the conversations that are left are really the golden ones, that are amazing, deep, high quality conversations, or the people that are in the space are, they're return visitors on a daily basis, and they are highly and actively engaged in conversations with others within the space. Those would be some of the things I'd want to look at in that process.
Awesome. Erica, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think we need to go any further. I mean, I just think the reality of metrics needs to change in this industry, and the alligator effect is a real deal. Like, impressions of things like community and academies are staying relatively flat, but the clicks and the search is going down massively, and because there are AI summaries, and it's just changing the way we think about things. But we have to have the content in the first place in order to serve them up incredible content. So I think that we just have to be shifting our thinking a little bit to what value means to a community and focusing on that. But plus one to all things that Todd said, it's a really hard question to answer on a webinar without it's like so annoying to hear that it depends, but like that's such a consulting thing to say, but it does on so many things. And but everything that Todd said is the way I would start to try to diagnose something changing. But just know everybody's is changing. Everybody's traffic is changing, and we have to evolve. We have to evolve.
Okay, awesome. One interesting question: what is the biggest mistake you are seeing team makes when they switch the platform?
Oh, I mean, I'll take that from a very platform. I'm very in the weeds on this right now, and very, very kind of gives me a little the twitchies, in fact. But what I am seeing is that, if I could just take a second, is that platforms are different, and it isn't about rebuilding what you did maybe decades ago, even depending on when your community, things have changed. Everything has changed. Platforms have evolved. So when you're thinking about making a change, take the moment to step back and maybe remap some business processes and think about what you're trying to solve. And maybe you need to do things in a different way. Or maybe you think about the new platform and the way that can unlock something different. Or maybe close your eyes and turn your head on your side and see things from a slightly different angle instead of necessarily recreating every bell and whistle and bump a little bit, pixel perfect things over to the new platform, wherever you're going. I don't care what platform you choose, that's just it's not ever going to work. There's no apples to apples comparison. And so it's a time to evolve and make it better and lean into something new and exciting, because the platforms are doing incredible things, all of them. And so that's what I'm seeing the biggest hurdle to get over is trying to recreate something exactly the way it was is problematic. And that's a very specific answer, I know. And Todd, I'm sure there's loads of other answers, but that is I'm living this right now. So in this disruption era, big time.
No, 100%. Here. I think that desire to recreate the exact experience. You're moving into a new house. The house is going to be different, right? And this is the time when you can think about rearranging the furniture, hanging the picture over on one wall as opposed to the other. I think that's an opportunity for change and growth and improvement. And it's also that question of moving from one platform to the other. Do you need to move all the content and conversations over that you had before? Data cleansing is important. Do you have the most important things that are coming over, or maybe if you're an open community and you're getting SEO goodness or AEO goodness from that, you want to maintain that. So you want to make sure that there are redirects, and a plan for that so that you're not losing traffic too much. But the other one that comes to mind right away is you mentioned that Erica's point was I think the foremost one to hit. But I think that question of conveying change to the members. Anytime you're moving from one platform to another, you're gonna lose members from that. There's some that just won't come along with you. That's probably okay, but you want to mitigate it as much as possible with a good change management plan, good communications about what's happening, why is it happening, when's it happening, what should I know about my stuff, that I had, here on this platform. Am I going to have that in the other platform? Well, I have the badges that I earned on this platform. Will they come over to the other platform? There's all of those anxieties and questions about someone, particularly your most invested users who have been high contributors to the experience. They need to know. They need to actually have the behind the scenes pass and previews of what's going to happen so that they can help socialize that as well. And again, I'll come back to the Winston Churchill quote: you got to hit him over the head with a pile driver about it. Just because you think you communicated it once and everybody's got it and it's all lovely, they don't have it. You need to probably do it 5 times more.
And I like this. I'm reading Paul. Just one sec. Sorry, Shaveta, and then I'll. No. But I was reading this comment from Paul. He says, "Talk to people. Talk to people using the platforms." Brilliant idea. Absolutely do that. That is brilliant. And also think about partnership in what you choose. That you're moving. It's an opportunity to think broader about where you want to go. Who in this space is doing things the way you want? Who do you want to innovate? You want to have voice of the customer. You want to be a part of the evolution. So it isn't just about swivel chairing, like we're saying, from one to the other, but who's got the right kinds of people on board thinking about where you want to go in the future? Because your community, migration's terrible. Let's be honest. It's just, so you're trying to just mitigate as much as you can, and Shaveta, this, you deal with this all the time, but how can you then think about next? Who's going to be a partner for you to think about what's coming for you to make you wildly successful? So that's something to think about too, I think.
Yep, definitely. And very beautifully said, Erica. The expectations is apple to apple, which is not possible.
Yeah, no.
Switching the platform, it means you are switching ready for the change. You are ready for evaluation. So I think that's something that needs to be thinking. Process should be there. That what will happen after 10 years? Is that platform going to sustain? Would that I'll be able to sustain my community on the platform? And so many questions.
Yeah.
I think so. That's one of the important part. So I think so. Keeping in mind the time, I'll just pick the last questions. how do you navigate conflicting business goals and navigate the community needs? What trade-offs do you make or not make? Very interesting questions. So I just want your thoughts. Like, what do you think about it? The conflicting business goals, navigating community needs, and trade-off.
I have a quick answer, and then I'll let Todd go, because I run into this all the time, and I get just like, the way I mitigate this just in a very easy way is make sure you're talking to your community members. So I think often executives or people that don't know enough about community think they know what they need out of the community. They've got this preconceived notion they want to use a group program. But when you talk to the community themselves and you actually survey them and give them, help you stack rank what's the most important thing to build the community for, after you are also thinking about your business needs, they'll tell you exactly what they need and in what order. So you have a good roadmap of what you should be building. And then what it does is it holds up really well to when an executive says, well, I want to do this. You're like, cool. We can do that. But what your literal customers are saying is they want this. So like, do you want to go against what your literal customers are asking for? That's risky. We could do that later. But like, I just find the best way to overcome conflicting business value is to show them what the customers are literally saying. I mean, you have a community, use it. Bring their voice in, let them stack rank what's most important for you. And that holds up almost every single time I run into this problem. Todd, what do you think? Over to you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love that answer. I think that's amazing. So a couple of things. I'll go back to one of the things that you said earlier. I'll take a cue from that. Go where the sunshine is. If you've got conflicting goals, figure out which one or ones the community is most likely to be able to serve. And so that you can build success with that leadership, build confidence and success. That's the goal with the leadership team, because that's where your funding is coming from to keep that community going. And so I think that's a piece of it. But if you're kind of caught in a catch-22 situation and you have these conflicting goals, you've been asked to do two things. I think that's an opportunity to try to reframe the conversation and help them to understand community based on data, based on things that the members are saying, within the space, as Erica was saying. And part of this, take this for what it's worth, because I've been an independent consultant for over 10 years, doing this work. And that's that I never consider that I'm working for someone, I'm working with someone, and that's a mindset. And so my goal is, how can we be successful at this, and how can I educate you about the stuff I know about, and how can I learn about the stuff you know about, and how can we build something good together for that? Which means that if you're being given conflicting directions, it's your job to be a challenger and not just take the hit and be a good soldier and do what they tell you to do. We're not in the army. This is us having a conversation and talking about how we build value with that. And it's not a my way or the highway kind of thing. If it's that kind of command control company, I might humbly suggest that maybe the community is not the right fit for that organization.
Okay, keeping in mind very almost on time. So thank you, Erica and Todd, for such a grounded and forward-looking conversations. It was amazing talking to you both. And it really feels that enterprise communities are becoming strategic infrastructure and shape insights, trust, and business outcomes. I also want to thank our audience who joined us. Thanks for the insight questions you asked. Really helped to drive these conversations. Thanks again for joining the Community Outlook 2026. We look forward for continuing the conversation with you soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.